Welcome to Confidently Visible. This is a podcast to help you move through visibility blocks such as fear, resistance, and overwhelm to put life-changing work out into the world and to grow your career or your business. I'm your host, Beck Sands. I am a visibility mentor, a certified life coach, and award-winning PR consultant, and I'm based in sunny Newcastle, Australia. Let me guide you to show up as your unique self, share your incredible work, and to grow your audience with more consistency, ease, and flow. Whether you're a consultant, an entrepreneur, a CEO, a coach, or a creative, this is the space to unlock your uniqueness, to grow your audience, to make a bigger impact, all while feeling good about being seen. The world needs to hear your message. Now let's get started. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Confidently Visible podcast. It is so lovely to have you here with me today. Thank you so much for listening in wherever you're tuning in from, whether you're walking or driving or doing something else. Welcome to you. So today I want to chat through how to actually create more freedom in your life and work. This is something that I never thought I would be able to do. And actually, as of the date that I'm recording this, I have a little 1 week trip to Perth and Margaret River planned to visit a friend for her birthday. And I don't have to ask anyone for permission, which is great. So obviously, I do need to manage my client work. I do need to manage everything that I've got going on and in my business. And there is a fair amount of stuff happening right now. So it's not going to be one of those switch off holidays, which I do recommend you do try and have at least once a year. For at least a week, but it's going to be a bit of a fun holiday, but also a working holiday. So I will be meeting with a client over there. I will still be hosting the Online Consultant, my 6-week course to help women go from corporate into their own businesses. And I will be doing some emails and progressing some stuff while I'm traveling. But I do have the freedom to be able to go and do the things that I want to do and also plan my days in the way that works for me. So for example, today I had a physio appointment at like 8:30 in the morning. So I thought, okay, that's fine. I can kind of flip my day. So I do some recording in the afternoon. And in the morning, I'll go and do the physio. I'll go for my walk. I'll do a few things around the house and get a few things ready for being away and then hit the desk this afternoon. And so I sort of flipped my day around so that I was doing the life admin-y kind of stuff this morning and the deeper work this afternoon. Whereas normally I do try and do the core of my work in the morning. And then the afternoon I go to Pilates or late afternoon. Or I'll go for a walk, or I will, meet a friend or do something else other than work. So I kind of have been able to, most of the time, design work around my life rather than the other way around, which is kind of living the dream. But there are some trade-offs. So it's totally up to you whether it's worth it. Like some people do just prefer kind of not to have freedom. And I get it. It's like when I talk about freedom, I mean like full flexibility and full ownership of your own schedule. So of course we're all, free to an extent to do whatever we want. But, it's like versus having to be at work at certain hours and show up and be kind of, on someone else's schedule, as well as being kind of told what to do, like you are in a job, in some jobs. And so instead of that, it's flipping the mindset to take full responsibility for your schedule, to take full responsibility for your productivity, to take full responsibility for your output, and also for all of the results that you get. So freedom is amazing, don't get me wrong, but it does come with those trade-offs that you need to be able to master if you want to do it well. And after corporate, like, the 9 to 5 or the 8 to 6 or whatever hours it is for you is great to a certain extent. Like it kind of gave me, I guess, that discipline, if you like, really, to kind of sit down and work all day. And doing that for 12 years, you kind of like that gave me a pretty good grounding in being productive and like being able to sit at my desk for long periods of time and get a lot of things done. I had, a really fast-paced career, so being in business doesn't kind of scare me in a way, because I'm like, I've always been super busy in my career of PR and comms as well as my business. And so I really love to be busy. I enjoy it. Like one of my biggest fears, I think, is like wasting time. It's like wasting my life. I'm like, no, I need to be productive. I need to be moving the needle forward to where I want to go. And I love supporting others. I love working with my clients. I love the work that I do. And so for me, it's really great working. Like I don't enjoy everything I do, of course. There are many, many, many tasks that I avoid, that I procrastinate on, that I don't like to do, that stress me out, all of that kind of stuff. But for the most part, overall, I really love it. And so, the key is to kind of not burn out. But I digress. So what I'm going to chat through in this episode is 4 things that you can do to start to create more freedom if you desire that, if it is for you. So if you do want to be able to control your workload, to control what you're doing in your business, and to kind of show up and be the master of your own time, so to speak, then this episode is for you. Okay, so I'm going to share the process and then I'm going to dive into the 4 elements. So freedom comes from the process of decision, discipline, visibility, and freedom. So this is the process that I talk about through all of my work, the process to get to freedom. It sounds simple, and I guess it is a way of simplifying it. There is going to be complications along the way, of course, but when you drill down to the essentials, this is what it does look like. So let's dive into it. Decision. Okay, making a decision about what you want to do is often the absolute hardest thing. And I can be a little bit wishy-washy when it comes to decision making, because I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it depends what it looks like when I get it, So I think like sometimes we can feel a little bit non-committed to our decisions and still take action anyway if we're feeling called to it. Because, if you're feeling called to, let's say, start a business or write a book or, any other really cool thing, if you're feeling called for it, then there's something in there for you. And often it's just the voice of doubt, the voice that doesn't want to get out of our comfort zone, that is telling you, actually, no, you can't do it. It's going to be a disaster. It will never work out. This is not going to happen for you. You don't have the skills. You don't have the talent. You're not good enough, blah, blah, blah. That kind of voice in our heads that tells us all of those things. And so often when we make a decision, we're kind of like, oh, I would really like to do X thing. But then the voice comes up and goes, there's no way you can do that. Like you're so blah, blah, blah. Or it's never going to work out, or all of this other stuff could happen and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So it's kind of like, okay, okay. Yes, all that stuff could happen, but also something that I can't even imagine yet that is really amazing could happen. And so it's really about trusting that inner voice sometimes when it comes to making decisions. And I find that if you don't listen to the voice, sometimes the decision is taken out of our hands. So if you think about like the whole, and I don't know who said this initially, but the whole feather, the brick, and the truck analogy of like, if you don't listen to your inner voice or to the universe telling you something, then it will throw a feather your way. So you kind of go, oh, okay, yeah, that's just awareness. Like that's something that I need to pay attention to. Or maybe I need to action that. So the feather in relation to, growing your business might be, actually, I want to launch this course. Like I've identified this. And then you see someone who's launched a course and you're like, oh, that reminds me, I want to launch that course. And you're like, okay, cool. That's the feather. And then there is the brick. So the brick could be something like, okay, I wanted to leave my job to start my business, but, I just haven't done it. I haven't done anything. I haven't taken action. I'm too busy. What about all the things that could go wrong? And then, maybe you're made redundant or something happens with your job or, and then that's the brick. And then if you're ignoring the brick, then often there's a truck. So the truck could be like a major health problem that happens, or, something that happens in your life that just stops you and goes, pay attention to me now, take action on this. And so I find that this scenario really does happen. I try and listen to the feathers now more and more, but sometimes I do still need to wait for the brick or the truck. Definitely happens. But, making those decisions is really just about listening to that voice or that inner, desire, if you like. Sometimes you even see someone else who's doing something, and if you're feeling jealous or envious of that person, that can be an indication of where you need to go, of what you need to look at. Actually, maybe there's something unrealized in you that you're seeing in them that you're like, maybe I need to do that. So then the second thing, so that's the first thing, decision, making the decision. It's hard to do. The second thing is the discipline. So I've not traditionally been someone who has been super disciplined. I definitely have worked on it, but I kind of feel like, I do sometimes like comfort over discipline. And I think it can be made more complicated when you've got things like health challenge or, because it's not like you can just go, okay, I'm going to be disciplined and I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. every single day and do this workout and go hardcore and do cross training and then sit at the desk and then smash out 5,000 words. And then, so all of the things that in an ideal world you'd want to do, often I've had some health challenges in the past and it's like, nah, the whole day's wiped out. So discipline is out the window. There's no way you could be disciplined in that sense. And so for me, discipline has been really about self-care and seeing and how I am in that point in time and just going, okay, I'm going to take care of myself, and understanding when I'm just resisting or just being lazy really, or just being oh, I can't be bothered, or when I'm actually needing to rest. And it's the same with work. So sometimes I'm no, I just need to push through and just do the next thing. And sometimes I'm starting to feel actually burnt out and I need to walk away from my desk right now. So I think this is just being able to tap into and get to know yourself a little bit more. So, when it comes to discipline though, it is so important to do anything. So I am launching a book later this year. I really committed to doing an hour a day of writing at the beginning of most days. And that supported me to really get the book written. I mean, it took a while. And it wasn't perfect. There were many, many days, weeks, whatever, that I couldn't do it or I didn't want to do it or whatever. I made an excuse or there was an excuse or whatever it was, but it wasn't perfect. But over time, I did maintain the discipline consistently enough to finish the book. And so it's not going to be perfect, probably. So just let go of that notion that your discipline is going to be perfect, because it won't. But it's just what you can do most of the time. If you can kind of set that intention and just go, cool, I'm going to do it most of the time, you're going to be in a much better position to keep going and to actually bring to life the thing that you're wanting to do. Any step is better than no step. No step it's literally nothing. You're going to stay where you are. Whereas even if you take the teeniest, tiniest step out of your comfort zone or just towards the thing that is drawing you in, even if you don't know 100% that you want it, you're going to move forward in some way, and the universe rewards momentum. So when you take action, you will be rewarded in some way through a shift. Okay. The third step when it comes to the path to freedom is visibility. Now, when you are wanting to have more freedom, whether that's in a career or whether that's in a business, you do need to be visible for your work. Because the reason for that is that when you're more visible, it does alter people's perception of your work as thought leadership, as important, as being a leader in your industry. And you're not just a doer, you're a thinker, right? And it does require you to actually become a thinker and not just be a doer. It requires you to get creative. It requires you to actually think really strategically about whatever field you're in. Now, this doesn't need to be massively complex. It can be something like being visible in relation to the shoes that you're selling. Like, people want to see the fact that you're behind the brand. They want to see who you are as a person. They want to see your uniqueness. And by seeing that, they will know whether they connect with you. And when people connect with you and can understand your story and actually are paying attention to you and what you do and resonate with you, that's when you can start to create more freedom in your life, because you won't be necessarily bound by having like the paycheck to paycheck or by having the limited business. You will have more opportunities for growth. You will have more people coming to you. You will have so much more opportunity. You'll have more potential clients. You'll have more choice. And, and all of those things create freedom for you. So it's often the things that take the least amount of time that move the needle the most. And an example of this is, like, let's say recording this podcast and sharing this podcast might take 30 minutes. Versus I could sit at my desk all afternoon and do busy work, and it doesn't really shift and move the needle the most. So it's not about a time thing. It's really about energy. It's really about intention. It's about clarity and really getting clear on, on who you're speaking to, who your ideal client is, and how you can start to build that visibility by sharing who you are as a person, sharing your values, sharing about your life, sharing your uniqueness, and how you serve and support, like what you stand for, so that people can know whether you're for them. Now, when you have more opportunities, when you've got more clients, when you've got more more revenue essentially, then you can open up pathways to freedom that you might not have otherwise. So the fourth thing in this whole system is actually holding the freedom. And I recorded a podcast ep about this a little while back, a couple of episodes ago. So this can be really challenging, holding the level of success you desire. I think it was podcast episode 26, but I can link to it in the show notes. So essentially, holding the level of success you desire can be actually very challenging because it requires you to have a different skill set. It requires you to have a whole another level of self-awareness about your own, like yourself, your limitations and so on. And also how you can show up and how you can grow, and the actions that drive you, like the things that you can do to actually move things forward. And like being able to hold that freedom. So like I was talking about earlier in the show, that if you can't necessarily manage your own time very well, if you're not self-driven, if you're not motivated, then you won't be able to hold that level of freedom. Because also, like, as you up level, you still need to up level your mindset along with the physical up leveling. An example of this is like you could earn $1 million a year, but still live in massive scarcity thinking because you're like, I could lose it all tomorrow. And so as you go, so that you can hold that freedom, so that you can hold that success, it is a self-growth journey along the way. So that's all I've got for you today. If you are interested on doing the work and going on the journey, the first place I would absolutely start is with some therapy or counseling and healing some of the traumas and the wounds that you may have experienced in your life that I believe most of us have experienced something, at least, that we can talk through. And healing that is the first step really on any visibility journey and on any journey of freedom, really just looking at yourself. There's also a book called, I love this book and I love this woman, Dr. Nicole LePera, How to Meet Yourself. It's a really good book. It's a great start to doing the work. So that's a couple of suggestions for you, but I really hope that you've enjoyed this app. I really hope that if you are on a journey of freedom, that this has resonated with you. And let me know as well if you've got any questions at all. Tag me on social media. I'm at Beck Sands across most socials. Thank you so much for listening and have the best day. Thank you so much for tuning in to Confidently Visible. I have loved being here with you today. I hope today's conversation inspired you to share your unique gifts with courage and to show up boldly and move through some of the visibility blocks that are holding you back. Now, if you loved this episode, I would love it if you could please leave a rating and review and share it with a friend who needs to hear this so that we can get this podcast into the ears of more listeners. If you're ready to become confidently visible for your career or your business, make sure that you head on over to becksands.com and sign up for my weekly newsletters where I share information, stories, and resources that I don't share anywhere else. Until next time, keep showing up as the amazing, unique you that the world needs.